Good morning, world. Good morning, Cement Shoes. Zelda. Amelia. Good morning, says Zelda. My friend and his family. Tell your mama I'm praying for her and wishing her a happy Sabbath day today. Well, I will, Zelda. Uh, Sprinkled donuts and inner peas. Good morning, Zelda. In case you're still listening, here hanging out. I will tell her when I see her next. She's not here currently. She's staying the weekend with her daughter, my sister, obviously. Gianna Marie, good morning. I hope everyone had a pleasant week. Get your cup of coffee or tea or whatever it is you like to drink. Good morning, Gayla. Will and all my favorite people, says Gayla. Good morning. Welcome to this morning's Coffee Brew Crime Recap Show. Quite a bit to cover this morning. We're going to give it a couple more minutes for people to pop in. Hope the weather is is decent wherever you are in this world. Kittiku, good morning. We actually got snow the other day. It's all gone now, but we got snow. It lasted probably about 5 hours, and then it's gone. Like right now, it's 47 degrees outside. It's the way the weather is here. It gets cold at night during the months of November and December, January, but during the daytime it hits 40, 50 degrees. So snow never lasts long. SoCal was cold last night. Well, I hope you're able to stay warm, Gianna. It's an interesting type of time of year for the weather, though. I would much rather have it be cold than hot. That's just a personal, belief of mine. I can always put on more, clothing if I have to be outdoors and bundle up and stay warm. But it doesn't, the heat during the summertime, I can never get cool enough. Just the way I am. It's 43 where Gianna is right now. 43. Well, that's not a bad temperature. I think it's supposed to hit in the 50s this week though here where I am. The Journey to Justice. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I was at the trial of the eye drop poisoned murder case in how you pronounce that? Waukesha? Waukesha? I don't. I'm not. I'm probably butchering that. The name of the Waukesha? Ooh. But that's cool. I dropped murder case. I haven't followed that. All right, let's get the crime recap show going here. This is Saturday morning coffee brew crime recap show that I do every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. These are cases that you may have been following, maybe you're not. I don't know. Here, I'll get myself my little window. Outdoor Channel, good morning and welcome to this morning's Coffee Brew Crime Recap Show, the Outdoor Channel. I hope you had a pleasant week. Overview, these are the cases that I've been following for the week of November 26th through December 2nd, which is today, in case you haven't flipped your calendar yet. You should look into them as well if they interest you. All of these cases I've either reported on YouTube, Discord, or Facebook, or X, which is the formerly known as Twitter. And good morning, Reichart. Good morning to you. I hope you are safe out there. I hope you had a pleasant week. If it is your birthday, I want to wish you a happy birthday. If your birthday is coming this week, I wish you a happy birthday all the same. Happy birthday. First case is Kevin Frank. Yes, the husband of YouTube creator Ruby Frank has filed for divorce and has also filed for a protection order against Ruby Frank, citing emotional cruelty and irreparable differences. According to the court filing from this past Wednesday in the 4th District in Utah, her husband has had enough of this lifestyle blogger, if you call her that. Some people call her other things, but mainly she is in the lifestyle blogging on YouTube. But he has filed for divorce from her. What will happen next? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see just how ugly it gets. Apparently, these things, when they happen to people that are in the national spotlight, especially, Ruby Frank is, but they tend to get pretty messy. So I'm sure that there will be a lot of people doing speculation stories on it. There will be quite a few people covering her actual divorce case as well. For some reason, it skipped good old Chatty. Chad Daybell, aka the Enlightened. Cameras will be permitted during his trial, and he will have a much more open series of court proceedings than his wife Lori Valow Daybell did. Him and his legal team may not exactly be happy, but because it's not going to work in his favor, because we're all going to see a lot more and learn a lot quicker, exactly, what part Chad Daybell took in this entire thing. Once the world learns of just how much he was not just following orders, but was leading the way in these criminal acts. I want to hear and I want to see how he's going to explain away that, at the bonfire, that where he was supposedly cremating a raccoon and it turned out to be Ty Lee. I want to see how he's going to be able to sidestep that. Oh, I didn't know that was there. I was 5 feet from JJ. How is he going to explain that? He's not. But he's going to say that, oh, it wasn't me. It was Alex. It was Lori. It was somebody else, anyone but me. But Turtle Boy is definitely going to not enjoy the fact that the world is going to learn more about him in a much quicker manner with cameras in the case. All right. Next, we had a gentleman who has a YouTube channel. This was actually kind of funny. I'll explain. But he took the first 3 questions from last week's trivia on Carl Panzeram and put them on his channel. Direct screenshots of the actual questions itself. But here's what this creator, well, I won't call him a dumbass. I'll call him an idiot, though, allegedly. He left all the keywords for the screenshots connected to him. So when you go onto YouTube, I don't know if the video is still up or not. But you can go into the search box of YouTube, type in Carl Panzeram, and not only does my live stream of Carl Panzeram come up, but you'll see right below it this one that has 411 now is one of the keywords. That is attached to each and every one of them of the three questions that he took. He literally took a camera, and the second question, he didn't even flip it, so the image is reversed. What it should be. So the first three questions from the actual trivia night are on this guy's channel. I don't understand why people do this. Laziness. Could have typed them out himself, but I mean, I can only assume it's pure laziness, trying to get some kind of audience to look at the video. But it happens. But again, when I reached out to this person underneath another account, and I asked them why they were using this other person's content, he said, in quotes there, "I know this creator, and he gave me permission to use his work," end quote. I've never even heard of this person before. I never even knew this person existed. How did I come about finding out this person was even using my content? I was working on the SEO, which is search engine optimization, for the video. Every week I go through on Sundays and after the streams, and I start going through all my videos that I've released, the shorts videos, long form videos, trivia night, live streams. And I searched it, to see how the search engine optimization is working for those videos. And I make tweaks on them. So the only way to find out how well it's doing is you put the keywords into the search engine, on YouTube, and it then gives you what matches those actual search, criteria. And that's how this guy's video kept on coming up over and over again. And I'm like, and I didn't click on it to actually watch the video, but I did finally. And then I was like, hey, look, my name, my picture, my slides, everything. Huh. Excuse me. But it happens. Happens a lot. But not so much people stealing it directly, like taking a camera and pointing it at a monitor or a TV and putting it on their channel. A lot of times they just steal the content and they put it out, and then they put their own name on it. All right, Alex Murdoch is in the news as well this past week. He got an additional 27 years for his financial crimes. Please don't be worried about Alex behind bars, though. He'll be doing just fine with all the money that has been put on his inmate account. He can buy protection and ding-dongs for years to come. He'll be living a comfortable life behind bars. Sadly, his wife Maggie wasn't afforded such fanfare in her life. You might be wondering who put money on Alex's account, his inmate account. Not only is his legal team, attorneys putting money on his account, but Buster is as well, has put money on his inmate account, and he will get a monthly stipend from his assets, that will put money on his account. So he'll be protected, for quite a while behind bars. Nothing bad should ever happen to someone like Alex Murdoch. That's sarcasm. But he'll be able to buy ding dongs and protection for quite a few years behind bars. All right, Rex Huberman. His estranged wife Melissa will now be paid to take part in the scene research and documentary, information that is being done for not only the documentary but the mini documentary on the Galago beach murders. Her compensation total hasn't been released yet, but an agent close to the negotiation said she wants part of the royalties and less upfront cash. So she's actually going to profit from the actual documentary and the mini doc that is being made about the Galago beach murders. So he can't profit directly from it, but it doesn't stop her or anyone else in the family from profiting directly from the actual case as it works its way through the system. Oh, Derek Chauvin's coming up, sprinkled on it. All right, so this week I released a video about, the idiot, Darlie Rotier. But there was an error that was made in the actual video that now I didn't notice it until after I put it up, that the editing, I cut out one part of it. I think it was at the 9 minute mark, 9 minute and 10-second mark. But she was actually only convicted of one count of murder, although she was indicted on 2 counts of murder for the murders of both of her boys. I said that she was convicted of 2, which is wrong, and I'll clarify that as I go on here. The grand jury indicted her on 2 counts, and the state of Texas only went after her for the 1 because there was the stronger forensic evidence in that case as opposed to the other child. That, and they also got to play the drum of, beat the drum of the, if you will, of the, younger, more innocent, child of the 2. There was never any evidence that was ever presented in the case itself that said that Darren had committed insurance fraud and took part in these murders. Although a lot of people still believe that he paid someone to come in, break in, steal valuables from the home so he could file an insurance claim. True, that may have happened because both of them were hemorrhaging money and could not keep up with the lifestyle that they had. That's a speculation. There's no actual factual evidence behind that, nor was it ever presented at trial that insurance was the reason why the supposed burglars broke into the home, cut through the screen, got into the home, killed both of the children, and slashed up Darlie with superficial wounds. That was never Darlie put forth that that defense that burglars had broke in, killed her kids, and attacked her, and while she was trying to defend them, and Darren slept through it all. That was her defense. That wasn't. There's no factual evidence that ever happened. But again, people still believe that Darren had committed some type of insurance fraud. Where's the evidence behind it? Yeah, true. He had insurance for all the jewelry and things that were in the house. But you have to prove things in a court of law, and they can't even file an appeal on that. All right. Returning dumbass of the week, Jared Lasik from Adventures with Perverts has been filing takedown notices again. This is another round. A former member of the AWP group had 7 copyright claims filed against them for takedown for video and editing that they had done, that they had put out on their own channel while they were still with AWP. So these are very old videos. And now that individual's actually up to 10 copyright takedown notices. And YouTube will most likely shut their channel down. In case you're not aware, if you get 3 copyright claims and you lose them, YouTube has the option to not only shut your channel down, but also delete the channel completely and all of its content if you get just 3. And like I said, this former member is now up to 10. YouTube has already blocked them from being able to do any uploads of new content or anything else. Additionally, once they shut down a channel, they can shut down any associated channels that are listed with Google, not just the main channel. And it's done so bad actors who are out there basically, sidestepping the policies. Oh, look, I got this channel shut down. I'll just start doing it on my other channel. YouTube and Google, obviously owned by the same entity, but they're 2 separate companies. YouTube talks to Google. They find out what other associated channels you may have, and then they shut them both down and delete all the content from both of them. Now, so a lot of smarter YouTube channels out there, such as myself, have other channels that are not associated with our main channel. Yes, we have other channels. We can tell people about them, but we never put links to them, on one or the other. but YouTube, and Google, they do find most of them, but it takes them longer. I think they search through IP addresses though, but he's going after them. Now, in case you're wondering, this returning dumbass of the week, he filed not one but two takedown notices against me personally for content of me reporting and covering his crimes that he has been charged with in the state of Utah. Yes, me factually, reporting the news about his arrest and the charges filed against him. He wanted taken down off of the internet. So he filed copyright claims against me, not because of what I said, but because I used his likeness, like in this photo here. Because I used his likeness, he said was a violation of his copyrights and his trademark. Yeah. But what he didn't realize is that, well, I'm a little bit smarter than the average idiot. I'm a little bit smarter than him. Since he's a public figure, his likeness is in the public domain. So everything that I said in critique of his actual crimes and everything that he did is protected and is underneath fair use. So I won both of them, but obviously he filed both of them against me to harass me, to stop me from reporting on him, which I'm going to continue to do. You stupid beep. All right, next one. Derek Chauvin. Derek Chauvin should have paid for protection. He was stabbed in the back and on the left side. Initially, he was listed in serious but stable condition. Where he is housed is considered a medium security housing unit, but it's also a protective custody unit inside of the medium security prison. He is not in general population like some people have actually, reported on. I truly wonder how they got that idea that he was in general population. As a rule of thumb, even if you're not Derek Chauvin and you're former law enforcement, they don't put you in general population because you would already have a target on your back. And now you add Derek Chauvin into it and his crimes that he committed, that would be an even bigger bullseye for every inmate to want to get at you. He was in protective custody. And that isn't just about every article that I've read about where he's at in Tucson and the prison itself, that he is in a protective housing unit, not in general population. But yet, at the same time, I've seen quite a few different videos on YouTube and on Facebook that people have made that said that he was in general population. I don't know how they got that. If they actually read any of the stories that have been put out by Fox or ABC or Associate Press, all of them say that he's been in, a protective custody housing unit. They're in a medium security prison in Arizona, in Tucson. And the reason why he was moved there is because of the publicity around his crimes that he committed. Huh. How did they get general population? I don't know. I don't know. As my son would say, I don't know. Oh, dumbass return. Obviously, Lori is going to keep on making this list because she keeps on making the news. But she has been moved to, Arizona to stand trial for her involvement in the murder of her ex-husband, Charles Valow. Just to give her the needle ready and save us all some time and money. Why are we actually going after her for this in Arizona when she already has, she's been convicted of murder in Idaho? Send her back to Idaho. They have the firing squad and they want to use it. They just enacted it this past year. So now they have more than one option for, capital punishment cases. Just execute her already. She's guilty. We all know she's guilty. I mean, I guess the soap opera has to go on, and we need to find out that she really did pay Alex to murder Charles, and that Alex actually did put 2 bullets in and then call it self-defense, and the police department there dropped the ball because they didn't even bother to do a forensic investigation of you shot him from 4 feet away. How did he get the second bullet in him that was lodged in the floor underneath him? Was that self-defense as well? After the first bullet and knocked him to the floor, you think you would be able to walk away. Now, I know in the state of Arizona and quite a few states, you do not have, as a homeowner or someone who resides in the residency, you do not have a duty to retreat from an attack. But if you just shot someone with a 357 Magnum or whatever the hell the gun was, and you shot him and he's obviously down for the count, you could have just stepped over him if you needed to and walked out the front door. Did you have to walk over and stand over him and put another bullet in him? No, but he did. And we're going to find out. It's just curiosity. It's like, who did Alex call first? He called Lori as soon as it was done. Then he called 911. Only after he called and talked to Lori to tell him that the deed was done. Lori's going to have some explaining to do. She's got some explaining to do. Yes, like Ricardo would say to Lucy, you've got a lot of explaining to do. And why, her brother just killed her ex, and then that was it. How was it that she was supposed to be there for a custody exchange and she decided to go shoe shopping and then to McDonald's? We'll see. It is a huge waste of money, isn't it, Sprinkle Donuts? I guess they just want to make sure that she never gets out of prison ever again, even if she used to be found, not guilty in Idaho by reason of insanity or something. I don't know why they're doing it. All right, our dumbass criminal of the week. This was the one where the criminal, not a very smart one, took an Uber to go rob TJ Maxx. And on the way to TJ Maxx, he told the Uber driver everything that he was about to do. The Uber driver, and then he asked the Uber driver to wait for him, that he was going to call, he was supposed to be there for a small amount of time and then leave. But the Uber driver decided not to. He drove off and to a safe location in the parking lot and called the police. Well, Kevin Gray is this man's name from Maine. He has now been collected his 12th felony for the year of 2023. 12 felonies. Wow. He's a smart one, that Kevin Gray. But he is the stupid criminal of the week. Views were down sharply on this one over last week's, stupid criminal of the week. They only brought in 2,109 as of, making up this yesterday. But I think it might be around 4,000 or 5,000 now, because I get a lot more views Fridays and Saturday mornings on those shorts videos. But well, that's the way the life goes as a creator. Sometimes you get the views, sometimes you don't. All right. So last week I asked you, do you enjoy, watching YouTube Shorts videos that I put out on YouTube, Facebook, and X? These are the results. And, I know you can't see me, so I'm going to get rid of my face here for a minute. 1,209 people said yes, they do enjoy the Shorts videos. 388 said no, they don't like the Shorts videos. And option 3 was didn't even know that I do 60-second or less videos, short. Those are YouTube Shorts videos. 82 said they didn't even know that I made them. I put them out every Monday and Tuesday consistently at the same time every single day, every single week. So But that's the results of the poll that I asked last week. No, there is no poll this week. This is my upload schedule for 2024. You will note that nothing has changed. Crime Trivia is staying on Sunday. It is not moving to Fridays. It is staying on Sundays. So is the Saturday Morning Coffee Brew recap show we are watching right now. But the difference is, instead of doing 3 dumb criminals of the week, I'm only going to be doing 2. Mondays and Tuesdays, dumb short, dumb criminals. No content on Wednesdays. I don't work on Wednesdays. It's the only day of the week that I get to spend with my son after he gets home from school. It's just the 2 of us. And I like to spend time with my son before he grows up and is out of the house. But Thursdays, I'm still going to be doing the 5 clues to a killer. Fridays, crime in the news. That means that any case like, Lori Valow or dumbass Lasik, whatever, comes across my desk is crime in the news that I feel that I need to make a video on. That'll be done on Fridays. And occasionally I will be doing a 60-second shorts video on Fridays as well. But other days of the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays, and even Thursdays, if something comes across like, a breaking news case about, Jared Lasik decides to throw himself off of the Narrows Bridge, with concrete bricks tied around his head. That would make a video that I need to actually release. So I could make additional content. But this is just my normal upload schedule. Additionally, I'm keeping the Patreon and channel membership streams to the first Friday of every month, along with videos and premiere videos as needed with a 48-hour notice. And for those who did show up last night to the channel member video, that video is on YouTube right now. So there were actually some people who showed up last night to actually watch that, and I appreciate each and every one of you who were there. All right. So as you all know, my friend Linda passed away, and we're going to be, her daughter, Georgia, and family and friends are going to be doing a live online celebration of life. This is not meant to be a sad event. It is to celebrate and share stories, of how Linda touched our lives and how, we're going to miss her, condolence. But it's going to be December 9th. That's next Saturday from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m. Yes, 7 hours of actual live streaming. She's going to have people on the panel. And then at some point during it itself, Georgia is going to do kind of like a eulogy, but it's not a eulogy itself. It's just telling her, the world how much, Linda, her mom, meant to us all, and celebrating, the time that we did have with her. In case you don't remember or know who Linda was, she went by Linda K. Listening. She went by Not My Verbiage for a small period of time, and a lot of people at the inn knew her as Checking Convictions. She was really an advocate in the Brendan Dassey case, and getting a review of that from the court system, along with other cases. But I'm truly going to miss my friend. Linda I always told her she was my Northern Star. And whenever I lost my way, or I felt down about doing all this, because frankly, look at it from my perspective. I read about the most grotesque, and inhumane things that people do to each other day in and day out. And it's hard to just flip it off like a light switch and walk away from it. But even when things would get to me too much, Linda was always there to kind of help me, center myself and know, that there's a greater mission out there. So I'm going to, truly miss Linda. All right, that is it for the true crime recap portion. Now to the chat. And for everyone who may have joined while I was doing that, I'm sorry if I missed you. But Rycard's got Georgia on his mind. The song. It's a good song, by the way. Thank you, Sprinkled Donuts. Yeah. I got my notes over here somewhere. I actually had to look this up, Cement Shoes. That's why I had to write it down on one of my notes here. Now, well, at least I thought I had it here. Ugh. September 28th, 2019 is when I did my first live stream with Linda. September 28th, 2019. Now, for last 2 years, right there, I'd say, that video was listed as private because I had it on another channel that I'm no longer associated with, because that person was also on a panel. But I've now I edited it out, that part out, but the video, that stream is still on YouTube. So the one from September 28th, 2019. Karma is a beat for former cop Derek Chauvin, isn't it? I don't know, some of these people are gonna, like Chauvin, and I'm sure that even as comfortable as let's just say that some of these criminals can live pretty comfortable lives behind bars. They can buy all the ding dongs and ho hos and and everything else, and top ramens and stuff like that, to live a comfortable life behind bars. They can't get away from their past and the people that they hurt, and how they may be connected to other people who are in prison, or maybe someone in prison who's already doing life or whatever, or just doesn't care because they're a sociopath. They can't get away from them. So yeah, karma is going to bite some of them in the ass pretty hard. If I was Derek Chauvin, I'd grow eyes in the back of my head, because there's multiple reasons why people want to get after him, besides him being a former law enforcement officer. Ooh, that's cool. Are those cups of coffee? No, those are vans and cars in her peas. Oh, that's cool. And I've actually looked at it, because it looks like a giant red line with some white things on it, because I'm not wearing my glasses. Karma will always come back and bite you in the butt sooner or later. I always get those two mixed up. It's just me, though. Is it karma or dharma? I think dharma is what people most of the time are thinking of when they say karma. But I always get the two mixed up. That's just me. All cops are taught that arrest hold, however, not to stay on them for more than a couple of minutes. Yeah, he was just an asshole. Oh, if he still is an asshole. Anyone else find it funny that Chauvin got stabbed on Black Friday, right? Oh, that didn't escape me either, Cement Shoes, nor some other people online. But he's retribution, unless you stick him on an island all by himself, it's going to come for him. And people like, Lori Valow, behind bars, it's not going to be all that, that great of an existence for her either. Karma, dharma, same thing. Same thing. The culprit said he did it or BLM. Man, that's a video I've always wanted to make, but it would go over like a lead brick on my YouTube channel. Telling people, exactly factually and showing them the evidence of where all the money that was donated to Black Lives Matters, where all that money went. You would be absolutely appalled by how the money, that came into, that organization, how very, very little of it was ever put back into the communities. I'm not saying that the mission is a terrible one or anything else. So don't get me wrong on that. All right. But there were millions and millions of dollars that got poured into it, and the corruption is involved with that from the top down. It's sickening. But it would go over like a lead brick, and I can see the writing on the wall now. How people would want to cancel me in a heartbeat if I ever made the video. Came back with a vengeance and attacked Derek. They would have to keep him isolated as El Chapo and keep him safe. El Chapo. There's a name I haven't heard in a while. El Chapo. Yeah, I saw some who put that in the comment section. I got to scroll back up. It went by. Gianna Marie. Good morning, Gianna Marie. Chris Watts will get his. The only thing that's keeping Christopher Watts safe behind bars right now is in a housing unit where he is. He is with, well, let's just say there's two people who are in that housing unit who are transitional. They are transitioning, or they're in the middle of transitioning from one pronoun to another. There are a couple of other people who are in that housing unit who are there for child murder or abuse. These are the type of people that he is housed with right now at the Dodge Correction Center. There have been a couple other people who've rotated in and out who are there for other, smaller crimes. But the only thing that's really keeping him safe is the people who are in that housing unit are sick a-holes just like Chris. That's the only thing that's keeping him safe. I just wonder, with Christopher Watts' Christian upbringing and how much, his family hates anyone that is not just like them, I wonder what Mommy Watts thinks about Chris being housed with two people that are transitional. And is Chris making friends with them? I wonder that. Speaking of Lori, I heard she is with Jody Aries. I don't know who's actually there at the correction unit where she's at, sprinkled on it. She could be. Better late than never, LOL. Furniture was being delivered to a new home. Yeah, I'm in my new cute apartment. Well, congratulations, Cheryl. I hope you're doing better health-wise as well, Cheryl. It's all right. You can always watch it and rewind. I'll have to check into that and see if she is with where Jody Aries is. Maybe the two of them can start a singing band, a duet. Would that be tune in tonight for live stream of Lori Valow and Jody Aries singing the top country hits. I can see it now. They get famous and they get a star on the Walk of Fame. Macaulay Culkin just got his star on the Walk of Fame. So Macaulay's got his star. Why not one for, maybe that they should do that outside the murder museum in Los Angeles. Is tear up the sidewalk and start putting stars out there for all the top 10 murderers or the murderers of all time. Might draw in more people. Get Herbert in there, and they can be just like the Andrews sisters. They're both Mormon, and they both sing "Yikes." Ooh, gospel hymns. Starring in prison makeup tutorials. Jody's a good painter. Jody is, I'm at a loss of words for how I want to describe Jody's, because this is a family content. I tried to at least keep it somewhat close to PG-13. Let's just say that Jody Aries is not in my top 100 favorite people. Sponsored by Jolly Ranchers. Jolly Ranchers and magazines. Don't forget that. They take the ink off of magazines and they put a little bit of Vaseline on it, and you rub it around, and then you can actually get the color off of the print from magazines. You use it for mascara, lipstick. It's not just Jolly Ranchers. Me and my wife actually covered that on a video we did on the Taco Podcast, one of my other channels. We did the top, I think it was 5 prison, makeup tutorials or something like that. It's been a while since we did it. Jody Aries is Jody Aries. We'll leave it at that. That is true. Maybe Jody will get hung up on Chinese Chad, chinless Chad, Chinese. Chinless Chad, and she and Lori can have a fight to the death. Ooh, a cage fight. Lori and Jody Aries. And the announcer can just say from Mortal Kombat over and over again, finish her! Finish her! Yeah, I'm surprised what they do with tampons. Yeah, I as Gayla, as part of that video that we did, we came across quite a few. Everything from curlers, for your hair, all kinds of different things, with tampons. I can see it now. That they're both standing in the corner like Mortal Kombat. Finish her. Die. You think Jody would win over Lori? I don't know. Maybe with the explosion of AI, we can actually get an AI to make a video of the two of them. Cage fight. Maybe we can do that with a lot of these inmates, and people who've murdered innocent people. Get them a battle royale. Send them all to an island. Oh, yeah, we can't send them to an island. That's what the British did with Australia. They sent them all to an island, and said, "Do you just go there?" Although there is a couple islands off the coast of Washington State. We got prisons on them. We have one for just women up there. We can send Lori, and Jody up there. We also have an island. I think it's another island where we have a prison is nothing but sex offenders. Celebrity deathmatch, murder to the death. Well, yeah, they used to do that claymation on MTV where it was to the death, and they would pit for some reason Brad Pitt against Salvador Dali or whatever in claymation, and they would, fight to the death. I can't remember what it was called. It was do something like that. It was on MTV back in the day. That was back when MTV used to play actual music, which is always strange to me because MTV music television doesn't play music. It's all just celebrity, bullshit now and reality TV. Corey Richins joining in on the fight as well. Get a bunch of them. I don't know. I'd make that video if I knew anything about how to do claymation or stop animation. There's a lot of moves to make something move like that. Celebrity Deathmatch was what was called. Thank you, Kitty Q. I can always rely on Kitty Q to come up with the answers to some of these obscure questions that I have in my mind. I remember the stuff. I just don't remember the names of them. Thank you again. I actually brought my book back down. It's on the other side of the desk here. The serial killer, calendar. I finally brought it back out of my bedroom. I had it on my nightstand for a couple weeks while I was reading it. Bedside reading, huh? Nothing relaxes the mind after a long day of learning about the depravities of the human, race than curling up in bed, with a nice good book on the serial killer calendar. It's a good book, but I'm a certain kind of special. We all have fun though. Should be a reference attorney. There you go. I know somebody who really is an attorney at law, and they have a YouTube channel that they only talk about dogs. Dogs, just different breeds of dogs. They pick a different breed of dog every year, and they go through all the the finer points of about owning the dog and what the dog needs and what hereditary diseases they're prone to. That's all they talk about. Quite a different, a lot of different people out there, do different things. That's apparently what interests them. I think the channel's like Shaggy Doo or something like that is the name of their channel. It's something like that. I'd have to look it up. I don't watch it all that often. I subscribe to it, but it's like one of those channels where it's like they put out maybe 2 videos a month, and so it's kind of like hit or miss if I ever catch anything that's new. Celebrity Deathmatch. It's a Doggy Dog World. It is. So tomorrow for trivia, we're doing the Golden State Killer, Joseph D'Angelo. All the trivia questions are about Joseph D'Angelo, the Golden State Killer. And if you've never joined us for trivia night, that's at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, otherwise 7 p.m. on the East Coast. But there's 18 questions. Plus, there's also did you know? Additional facts about the actual person we're covering. But Joseph D'Angelo, the Golden State Killer. Yeah, homework tonight. LOL. It's fun. Basically, a lot of people who are here in the chat right now are there, for trivia night tomorrow night. Plus, we get some additional ones, obviously. I got another video that I'm working on for this week. Love behind bars. Love behind bars. Do you know how many serial killers have actually married once they were convicted and sentenced to death or life in prison without the possibility of parole? How many would you guess have actually gotten married? Now, we all hear about stories of love interest and pen pals who put money on their books, but how many of them have actually gotten married behind bars after they've killed? Now, there's been some, obviously, that have were married when they actually committed murders and they stayed with their significant other afterwards. But how many of them were actually married, fell in love, got married while they were behind bars doing, for a capital murder case? Sprinkled Donuts is going with a lot. Kitty Q a lot. I got 5 right off the top of my list that I'm looking at right here. I've attended an inmate weddings while on duty. Wow. Yeah, there are actual. I don't know where you do not have to say, Gala, where you actually work, but in the state of California, San Quentin Prison does more actual weddings than any other prison in the state. In person weddings. Sprinkled Donuts, Richard Ramirez. Now, I'll give you just the top 5, okay? The top 5s who have been, inmates who have committed murder, and been sentenced either to death or have been sentenced to life without the possibility of parole. These are just the top 5. I have a lot more than these 5, though. Charles Denton. People remember him more as Tex Watson. He was part of the Charles Manson, group that killed Sharon Tate in California. But Charles Denton got married once he was convicted and was serving life. Eric Mendez, Eric and Lyle Mendez, you may remember them. They killed their parents for the insurance and the inheritance. It came up with a bullshit story that they were abused their entire lives, but Eric actually got married behind bars. And then, as you pointed out, Sprinkled Donuts, Richard Ramirez got married behind bars. Also, he's number 3 on the list, but number 4 on the list is Angelo Buono, 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 the Hillside Strangler, got married behind bars. And incidentally, side note on him, when he got married, he had 10 different women who were bidding for him to want to marry him. 10 different women proposed to him or he proposed to them. When he got married, he kept the other 9. And his wife knew about it the entire time. She's like, well, he can't cheat on me because he's behind bars. But she married him anyways once he was, behind bars. And knew all about the other 9 women he was carrying on with. And they were putting money on his books and coming and visit him. But yeah. And of course, good old Teddy Bundy. California marries anyone and anything. Texas, disgusting. Sacramento County Sheriff's Department. My nephew is a CO at San Quentin, but is transferring to another prison. Oh, well, I didn't want to put that information out there, Gayla. That's totally up to you. If you want people to know where you worked. But your nephew, though, I hope that wherever he transfers to is a better fit for him. Angelo and his cousin Kenneth Bianchi committed their crimes together. Yes, they did. Yeah, in Reichardt, to answer your question or your comment, California will marry anyone. Pretty much. I mean, you can't marry a goat legally. At least I don't think you can. I'm sure if you can, someone's already done it. But I love California. Not from here, but California has a special place in your heart. Bundy crazy. I'm retired 6 years ago. I hope you and your hubby are, enjoying your retirement. Well, your hubby's still working though, but I bet he gets more snickerdoodles than I do. My daughter's actually gonna stop by today and make me pumpkin pie. I don't even like pumpkin pie, but she's gonna make them for me anyways. I can't get her to make me cookies, so no snickerdoodles for me. But that's five of the top murderers. I have a list of there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. I have 25 on my list of murderers who were married behind bars after conviction. Not married while they were, the appeal, while they were, the trial was going on. Convicted murderers behind bars. I have 25 of them on the list. I'm eventually going to get that video done. Hopefully, I get it done this week. Yes, he does. Juicy Jules is in the house. Cookies and a glass of milk. Good morning, Juicy Jules. I hope you had a wonderful week. Thank you for joining us today. Yeah, but I was surprised. Additionally, one of the other things I was looking into is with this list of murders who got married after conviction for either, they either had a capital punishment case or life in prison without the possibility of parole or a sentence. And like 2 of them, they're on the list. They got sentences of like 100 years plus. Like they'd ever be able to outlive that sentence. It's basically a death sentence because they have to do 3/4 of that 100 years before they're eligible for parole. But anyway, I was also looking into how much money did people actually give these criminals once they were convicted and behind bars? Either money sent to their inmate accounts or money that was given to their, through the court system that went to their attorneys. Yeah, it's amazing. If I can make just a fraction, a tiny fraction, just 1% of what some of these guys have pulled in as murderers behind bars, I'd be doing all right. And it's a lot of money. A lot of money. Like Eric Mendez, while he was actually courting his soon-to-be wife behind bars, he brought in over $300,000. Just him. Most of the inmates get married after conviction because their spouses and children will get benefits. I did not know that. I didn't know why they got married after conviction. I was like, who's marrying these people? That was my question. And it's not just men. No, I found quite a few women who were on the list as well, who convicted murders. Either they killed their spouse or they killed their children or something or both, and got married to somebody else after conviction. Some people know how to milk the system. Holy shit. Do I enjoy? Yes. Good. Must be watching and rewind the crime recap. I always wondered what happens to convicted killers who've been executed and the process that happens afterwards. Do they have to be buried in a pauper's grave on the cemetery on the prison property? Do they send them to cremation? Hypothetically saying, if they don't have family or anybody to retrieve their body, what happens to them? Are they put in just an unmarked grave, with their prison, or they just put a prison number headstone? I know that Lamont did a couple of different cemetery tours where it's just inmates and it's all it is just a marker with their prison ID number, and then you have to look them up to see who's even in the grave. I know in California that happens. Post where this girl said she and Chris Watts are getting married next year. Well, I wouldn't be surprised by that at all, Sprinkle Donuts. I'm surprised it's taken this long. I really am. And it's well-known factual. You can find the information online, and I do believe you can still request it from the Dodge Correction Center. But there's actually the actual sheet itself of how much mail comes in and out communication with Christopher Watts. He's been writing quite a few people, and no, Nicole is not one of them, unless she's using a fake name, to correspond with him. She isn't one of the people, corresponding with him. Convicted murderers are new role models nowadays, I guess. LOL, that's crazy. Yeah, there are people out there that just. And I've looked into the psychology, side of it, why women marry men who are behind bars. Maybe they're doing life without the possibility of parole, or they have a death sentence. I've looked into that. A lot of times it comes down to, and I cannot say this works both ways for men, who write and contact and fall in love with women, who are doing life, or have a death sentence. But for women who communicate with men that are behind bars, a lot of it is because of circumstances in their past. Either they were abused, they were cheated on, maybe they suffered from mental, physical, and sexual abuse themselves in some point in their past. They cling to these inmates who are behind bars because they're safe. They know where they are. They know they're never going to raise a hand to them, so they can still have that. They may not be able to have that physical contact or all the time, if ever, because they might only be able to visit between plexiglass. But it's a safe relationship for them. And that's why they're drawn to these individuals. They can have a relationship and correspondence back and forth with someone, but they know that they're never going to be physically abused or sexually abused. I mean, obviously the inmate can step out with Joe down the block, or Jolene if it's a trans individual, but or whatever the circumstances be. I don't want to get into that. Leave that to JD over on his channel to talk about. But that's why women get attached to these men behind bars. I don't know if it works the other way for men. I mean, I probably can look it up in the psychology textbooks that are right behind the camera here on the table, or on the ones over here on the shelf. These men convince the women that they are innocent and get sympathy. Usually, there is more than one girl. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, I mean, like Angelo Bruno. I mean, he was courting 10 women at the same time. 10 different women were writing him, and he was writing them. And he had marriage proposals that he gave to other women, or they proposed to him. 10. And even though he picked one and married that one while behind bars, that she knew all about the other 9 and didn't care. What? Yeah. It amazes me how much money these women spend on men in jail, right? It is truly shocking. There have been some that have paid off their legal bills and their restitution, paid it all off, and then at the same time kept their love interest behind bars comfortable, with everything that they needed. And they lived high on the hog. It's crazy. Yeah, it is crazy. But I don't know. And at the same time that I don't understand it. Who am I to disagree that or say that it's wrong for them to do it? I don't. You fall in love with someone, you fall in love with them, right? Who am I to judge who you can't fall in love with? Even if you're not hurting anybody, I mean, love whoever you want. Even if they're doing 360 years in prison, and they have to serve 3/4 of that before eligibility for parole. Or that case of that one guy, was it North Carolina, got a 1,000-year sentence. They wouldn't give him the death penalty, but they gave him 1,000 years or something like crazy like that. You never know. People love people for different reasons, even if they say they're innocent. I'm sure that each and every one of them have played this scam. They're innocent. They need money for attorneys, so they can get an appeal. If they need money for a new forensic expert or something, it's all a scam. Basically, I'm sure that there is some that do have true affection for those who they're communicating with. Until the inmate gets disciplined and fed a nutrition wafer that tastes like chalk. The nutrition wafer. I've never heard of a nutrition wafer. What's the purpose of the nutrition wafer, Gayla? Hollywood might have something to do with this. Madness in their movies. They glorify evil men. Yeah, I would agree with that, right, Carter? I'm not sure if it plays into it, but I think it definitely does. I mean, the man, the rebel without a cause, the man from the wrong side of the tracks. Guaranteed, Letitia will get married. Maybe a book deal and movie after Die for Money. One of the other things while I was researching this list was we have statutes on the book. They're generally called the Son of Sam laws. Now, that's just a title that is given for a series of different laws that are across the United States on the state level and on the federal level. They're called the Son of Sam laws. And those laws are meant to protect and make sure that the perpetrator cannot profit from their crimes. Profit from criminals from profiting off from their writing, doing shows, audio recordings, and passing along accounts to a third party so they can profit. That they're called the Son of Sam laws. But I found out that while I was researching it, and as of October of 2022, that several states have actually stricken down the Son of Sam laws, or basically stripped away enforcement of the Son of Sam laws. Now, again, it's kind of it's wrong to call them the Son of Sam laws, but that's what they're generally called, is the general Son of Sam laws. But a lot of states have stripped away the protection underneath the Son of Sam laws. Look at John Hinckley Jr. and immediately after release, came out with 2 albums that are self-produced, but 2 albums that are all about his crime. Why? How can he do that? Well, the Son of Sam laws where he lives are completely pointless to even have them anymore because they stripped away all enforcement from them. But in case you didn't remember, John Hinckley Jr. is out there walking free and can go anywhere in the United States or the world if he can get a passport. I don't know if he has a passport though, but he has no restrictions at all. He is not on parole, not on probation, nothing. He is free to do whatever the hell he wants, and he is. You can hear his band play up and down the east coast of the United States, from Maine, Vermont, New York, Jersey, all the way down to I think the last place they played was West Virginia or North Carolina. John Hinckley Jr. and the Hinckley Band. But what about the spouses after the killer dies? Does the law still apply to them? It was meant to originally, Kitiku, but the states have stripped away and the federal government. A lot of these cases came up underneath. Attorneys filed cases and said, look, if you take away the rights of, you're taking away the rights of the individual and restricting them underneath constitutional amendments because of what they may have done. Why didn't you ever do any videos on Alden Fucci? Because William, thank you for the super chat, William. I appreciate it. He's a nutcase, and it just wasn't a case that I was really interested in. That's the honest truth. But thank you again for the super chat. I really appreciate that. I hope you're doing well. Send me an email. Let me know when your book's coming out and the details. You should have my email address. If you don't, it's 411nowbusiness@gmail.com. I'll put it in the comment section here. 411nowbusiness@gmail.com. Yeah, but he's a nutcase. He is definitely a nutcase. What was I talking about before? I forgot. I lost my train of thought. I'm sure it was important. Oh, I didn't move my thing back down so when I typed it in. Yes, Reichardt, he was found guilty. Thanks. I currently don't have a release date on the book as of right now. Okay. Well, just copy and paste the email down and just type in hello, and that way you don't lose it from your contact information. Son of Sam laws. Yeah. Oh, Son of Sam laws. Okay, so back to they filed the lawsuits and they appealed decisions that were actually made because they said they restricted the constitutional rights of not only the individual who committed the crime, but those who were related to the person or knew inside information, like police officers. Maybe it was the detective retires after the case and writes a book about his interaction with Richard Ramirez. Should we forbid that officer from being able to write that book? How about the wife of Richard Allen or Joseph D'Angelo or someone who's connected to the case from the inside? Would it be wrong for us to restrict their constitutional rights to not profit from what they know? And why is it these laws were so brought, not only from the actual perpetrator? I can understand why you don't want the perpetrator to profit from the crime. Why is it that if they write the book themselves and they give it to their brother or third cousin twice removed who saw Ferris pass out at 31 Flavors last night, why is it that person can't profit from it? But that's how based, they started enacting the law. A lot of times, if when they pass laws like this, they have good intentions, but then people start using them and pushing them farther and farther and farther from where their intended line was supposed to be. So, and as they made these rulings, okay, I guess it's okay for the third cousin twice removed, who saw Ferris pass out at 31 Flavors last night. She can write a book about Richard Ramirez, or because Richard wrote it and then gave it to her and she rewrote it and and now has a book deal with Random House for it. So I can't write my book. Oh dang, yeah you can. Especially if you're still in the state of California. The state of California has actually removed a lot of the restrictions when it comes to the Son of Sam law, Scala. New York, I know New York, Massachusetts, Iowa, Indiana, California, and Oregon have all removed a lot of the restrictions when it comes to book deals, or writing about crimes that you actually know about or had firsthand knowledge of, from the individual who may have relayed the story to you. You can actually write the story. Save Ferris, says Cement. Yes, Save Ferris. And good morning or good afternoon, Goldie. Welcome to this morning's true crime, coffee brew true crime recap show. I can actually talk. Talking about Jody and Lori, Letitia and Corey fighting to the death in Mortal Kombat. Yeah, I was. I still think that'd be funny as hell. What if I could find somebody who actually does claymation? I don't even know if the people even do claymation anymore. Maybe it's all done by animation on a computer now. Did you hear that the Long Island serial killer's wife cut a $1 million deal with Peacock TV? Yeah, Cement Shoes. That's in the recap. I didn't know how much it was worth because she's being paid as not only part of the documentary but the mini doc. So the mini doc might be what's going to be on Peacock TV. I didn't know what it wasn't disclosed when I made up the this morning's crime recap. But yeah, I think her name is Melissa, isn't it? I'd have to go back and look at it. I don't actually write this stuff down. I do, but then I throw the notes away because otherwise this desk would just be covered with notes. Y'all can't see the rest of the mess that is not on camera right now. But trust me, there's a lot of pieces of paper that are all over the desk and post-it notes everywhere. I've been here since you were talking about your friend who was the Northern Star. Oh, that's Linda. Talking about Linda. Well, either way, still, good morning, Goldie. I hope you had a great week, and I hope you have a terrific weekend. I do appreciate you being here, and everyone. I appreciate everyone being here. But I was cleaning the house. Yeah, I got to do some of that today. And how is she not still a suspect for potential involvement? Her hair DNA was all over at least 3 victims. True. Super chat, Cat. I will. Were you able to get an update on Schmida? Didn't know to look into an update on Schmida. At least if I did, I don't have the notes in front of me. I'm sorry, Super Chat Cat. I have long hair. And my hair is all over my house. It could have been transferred by him. It's something I may write about one day. Shmita. Didn't it? Well, I mean, speaking of Shmita fam, and everybody from True Crime Loser, Scott channel. He just put out a video the other day. I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I was too busy. Stephanie Lars's friend. Did you read anything on the Crystal and Shane Robertsons? They are horrible. I'm waiting to see when they go to court. I have notes on it, Kitty Coo, that I'm looking into, especially Crystal Robertson. Hadn't looked too much into Shane. Did you see the latest video from True Crime Loser about the former congressman bullying a street vendor? Reichart? No, I think that I haven't had it. I saw that it came up on my suggested list. I'm a subscriber. I've been a subscriber of Scott's content for a long time, but no, I haven't had a chance to watch the video yet. That's what I was just hinting at, I guess. Was I saw that he put out a new video the other day, but I haven't had a chance to watch it yet. I was too busy. But I'll watch it after this. Please fill in the ignorant Roman. Who is Shmita? Shmita. Trying to think the best way to put it. I mean, it's become more of an inside joke, in greeting to people from over on True Crime Losers channel. I guess the best way to put it at this point, Goldie, is it's an actual individual, but Shmita is more of an inside joke and a greeting. The Shmita family on True Crime Loser. It's a YouTube channel. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have talked about that. I sometimes I forget that other people don't watch some of the other channels that are on YouTube and know the inside jokes. I do see it, and this is something that other people are going to understand. Is here on my channel, like especially like on trivia night, and other times you'll see in the comment section of my videos, someone will refer to mountain lions, Yugos, or meth, or all three of them together. It's like an inside joke, that we joke about, that in the Jersey Shore, the 144,000, but these are inside jokes that are kind of like within, I guess the community itself. And we are like the mountain lion family, see? But I understand it does make you definitely feel out from the like the outside looking in, and I'm sorry about that. And it's not meant to be that. It just something that's it started off as a joke, and we just keep on rolling with it, I guess. Speaking of mountain lions, who thinks Barry Morphew will be recharged? Not me. They screwed the pooch on that one. That is, I don't think that they have a shot in hell if they were to recharge him, Sprinkle Donut, to charge Barry Morphew. All of the evidence that was brought in and everything else is it wouldn't be double jeopardy, but they could, every piece of evidence they would have to fight, to get reintroduced. And his defense would be like, oh yeah, if he's guilty, why'd you throw it out the last time? Why was the case dismissed last time? So they would have to find a plethora of new evidence on her, or in and around the area, or GPS or something that pinpoints that he was there. A whole new evidence, that hasn't been brought into the case to this point. So, and that's a very big uphill battle. And then they're going to call it, the defense will call in, the witch hunt for him, and they singled in on just Barry. And you put all that in front of a jury. I mean, it definitely screams, doubt, that he is the right person. Even if you brought in, hey, we have video footage of him, in the area. And I loved how the media, took a tiny little piece there after her remains were found and stretched it out into this long narrative. They said that, Barry was very familiar with the area because he enjoyed hunting and the outdoors. No, not at all. Barry never, as far as anyone knows, his friends and everyone else that he hunted with, and people who worked with him, he never went that direction. He always went to the mountains, the opposite direction. So why would he go there? He never had worked in that area. He never had, went there for hunting. There's no outdoor services that he, enjoyed. None of it is there. Not sure there's deer in the area, but he was always going for, other game in the other direction. But they took that tiny little tidbit with that's what you have to, when you hear stories like that and information like that, in the news, you have to really sit down and think about, here's where they lived, here's where she was found, and he went hunting that direction and that direction. You can't see my hand, but down that way, and that way. But that would make a pretty good, you could then say, well, he disposed of Suzanne's remains here. All right. Maybe he dug her up somewhere else and then moved her there. That's speculation. You have to actually prove that. But then dumped her remains here. But he dumped her in the opposite direction from where he really went hunting, and went in the outdoors and hiking and everything else. He went that way, the opposite direction. That's why he did it, is to throw them off, because he, well, I can't do it over here because this is where I like to go, and people know I like to go in these areas. So I'll go the opposite direction and discard her there. There's no GPS or information that shows that he actually ever went that direction. For work, outdoor hobbies, nothing. I guess it could be a good, what, I'll throw him off by, dumping her remains that way as opposed to that way. No one spotted a vehicle that, that he owns, in that area. No one said, hey, we saw his truck there. You got to have some kind of evidence that actually pinpoints that he went that way. And most vehicles have GPS in them, and then we carry these damn, tracking devices in our pockets at all times. So he went hunting towards the mountains. He's a mountain lion. Da-dun-da-dun-da. That's true. He's a mountain lion after all. Also, the unknown DNA from another criminal being found in her vehicle. Yeah, that definitely, that's another, case of doubt. And wasn't that guy connected to like sex crimes or something like that as well? But again, getting back to, will they recharge Barry? I don't think they have a chance in hell to do it. I mean, they could charge him, sure. You could find a DA who thinks they have enough evidence that that wouldn't be able to be disputed in court, and if they have something new on top of it all. Otherwise, I don't think we're ever going to solve the case of in the justice system, in the court of public opinions. Barry is guilty, and Barry is going down for, in the court of public opinion as the person who killed Suzanne. So, and frankly, I always look at it from a blank slate. I take a blank piece of paper and I always write out who is the person is missing. Then I write down underneath that, what do we know about this person, their activities, where they like to go, who they hung out with, who they communicated with on a regular basis. Were they, doing anything illegal? These are the top 5 things that I always write down when I'm trying to track down. And detectives do the same thing. You have to go into each and every case without, the media may be screaming at you. Barry did it. Barry did it. Barry killed her. Barry killed her. Over here, they might be screaming at, but you have to go into it with a blank slate and look at the evidence. Where does the evidence lead you? Does it lead you to Barry? Does it lead to the possibility of another person in the area who abducted, and did something with her and then discarded her, where we eventually found her? What is the more likelihood of it? Yeah, maybe their marriage was over with. A lot of marriages end and we don't kill the other spouse. So that's not necessarily like, hey, you know what, I want her dead. He was still going to get the money and part of everything anyways. Well, maybe he wanted it all. People have killed for far less. So, but you have to let the evidence lead you to, before you have to have that stuff before you make the arrest. And they certainly went from A and B straight to, D. They skipped over C. Then they went straight to, the end of the line of, let's try him and convict him of it. And they made a lot of mistakes. A lot. So, but it's amazing that they even went that far. When you get people, who are like, hey, I gotta have this, this case in front of me because I've got, re-election coming up. When that is your number one thought before, actually getting justice for the victim and their family. A lot of dumb things happen. A lot. I want to get my name in the lights. Put me up on the marquee. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to wrap up this morning's live stream right there. I want to, before I leave, if you'll give this a thumbs up, I would appreciate it. If you enjoyed the actual true crime recap this morning in the chat, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. A lot of people don't. And remember, subscribing to my YouTube channel is absolutely free. It never costs anyone a dime to become a subscriber, so you'll be notified when the next content comes out, which is tomorrow. We do true crime trivia. We're doing it on Joseph D'Angelo, the Golden State Killer. Now, that's a live trivia in chat. And of course, you will see some of the inside jokes that will pop up in the comment section. They're all multiple choice questions. They're really easy to follow along. It's a great community of people that, to play, a trivia game live with. 4 p.m. on the Pacific Coast time. That's the West Coast of the United States, or 7 o'clock on the East Coast of the United States. With judge accordingly. But if you're a subscriber, you'll get notified. I think it's up to 15 minutes beforehand. You can actually click on the thing on my YouTube channel. Notify me when it's live. You don't have to click on the bell. The damn bell thing doesn't work. I don't know why they tell people to do it. But thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. And you all have a wonderful day today. And I hope to see you again tomorrow. Bye.